Married to a Madman, Part 3. The drums grew louder, echoing deep into the forest that surrounded Nkwa village. Dust rose gently beneath the maiden's feet as the dance circle tightened. One after another, the young men began to walk into the middle, choosing the girls they desired, raising their hands high in the air as the crowd cheered wildly in excitement. Every time a man lifted a maiden's hand, the people clapped and sang praises to the gods of fertility. When a girl danced and touched a man, and he accepted, the drummers beat even faster, bum bum bum. The women all related, the elders nodded, and the air was filled with joy and approval. But amidst the noise and laughter, Lola kept dancing. Her hips swayed, her eyes glowed, her smile bright like the sun, but no one came forward for her. She kept waiting, moving her body to the rhythm, hoping someone would raise her hand too. She glanced around, wondering what was wrong. Why had no one chosen her? Why did the men avoid her eyes? The music kept playing, but her joy began to fade. Soon, the circle grew thinner. One by one, maidens were chosen, until only 2 were left, Lola and another girl. Determined not to be the last, Lola took a deep breath, gathered courage, and danced toward a young man she had admired from afar. Her beads jingled as she reached out and gently placed her hand on his shoulder, but the man quickly pushed her hand away. The crowd gasped. Some laughed quietly. Others whispered, "Oh, is that not the prisoner's daughter? She is the one. The daughter of the man who owes the merchant. No one would dare marry into such a cursed family." The words cut through Lola's heart like a sharp knife. She looked around, confused, embarrassed, not understanding why kindness and laughter had suddenly turned to silence and mockery. She tried again, touching another man, but he too withdrew, pretending not to see her. And just like that, she was rejected. Tears filled her eyes, but she kept dancing weakly, not realizing that her rejection had already sealed her fate in the eyes of the people. To be unchosen in the circle of the Bliss Festival meant one thing, to be cast away by the gods themselves. But then, the murmuring crowd suddenly grew quiet. From the far end of the festival ground, a figure stepped forward, tall, broad, and richly dressed. The golden rings on his fingers shone under the moonlight. His heavy wrapper swept the dust as he walked, and his face bore the pride of a man used to being feared. It was the merchant of Nkwa, the richest man in the land. A man whose name carried both reverence and fear. A man old enough to be Lola's father. A man whose wealth could move the entire village. The people bowed slightly as he passed. Women whispered, men nodded respectfully. Everyone wondered what had brought him into the circle, for he was not known to attend these rituals in person. He had been watching Lola all along, the way she danced, her innocence, her beauty glowing even through her tears. A thought formed in his mind, this is the one. Young, pure, easy to mold. And with this, I can silence her father's shame forever. He stepped into the center of the dance floor, his heavy staff striking the earth. The drums stopped abruptly. Silence fell. Then, to everyone's shock, he reached out, took Lola's trembling hand, and lifted it high into the air. The crowd gasped in disbelief. Is he mad? One elder whispered. But he's the one who sent her father to prison. She's only 17, another cried. But who dares to question him? The women muttered among themselves. No one moved. No one spoke further. The merchant turned to the elders and declared in a loud, commanding voice. Before the gods and the moon, I take this maiden as the bride of my house. The drummers struck the drums once more, softer now, uncertain. Lola, still dazed, looked up at him and smiled shyly. Do you accept? He asked in a deep voice. She nodded quickly, smiling, not fully understanding what she had agreed to. The crowd cheered, not out of joy, but out of fear. And that was how the girl whose father sat behind prison walls became the chosen bride of the richest, most feared man in Nkwa. As the drums resumed, the last maiden who was not chosen stood alone. The elders touched her head and declared her iron money, rejected by the gods, doomed never to marry or bear children. She would live among the widows in the mountains until her death, where she would be buried in solitude, far from the laughter of the living. And while the rejected maiden was led away, Lola danced with tears and laughter mixed on her face, unaware that her own story, darker and stranger than any other, had just begun. To be continued.